center. Straw back. On the track. At the wall. See ya!
How's it going, everybody? We just finished the wild card round, and not only are the Blue Jays and the Rays headed off to golf, but so are the Mets, which means that the Yankees are the last team standing from the American League East and from New York, and they will take on the Cleveland Guardians in a best-of-5 series. So in this video, I'm going to preview both teams, and I'm going to give you my X factors who I think could step up. We're going to revisit the 2017 ALDS. The Yankees had kind of a great run that year that nobody expected, and the ALDS was really what got it started, going up against Corey Kluber a couple of times. And we'll talk about the Aroldis Chapman thing. I didn't get into that yesterday. It made kind of big news that Aroldis Chapman has essentially kicked off the Yankees, thus ending his Yankees tenure for missing a workout. So we'll get to all that. Let's get started. Playoff time, baby. All right, it's pretty typical of the baseball season for some casual fans to not really turn it on until the playoffs. And to those folks, I welcome you. Yankees had a pretty good year. They won 99 games. They were the American League Eastern Division champions. Very nice run differential. 807 runs scored, 567 runs allowed. Aaron Judge not only broke the American League record for home runs in a single season with 62, but he also had a 10.6 B-WAR. And Gleyber Torres had a pretty good year. He missed the end of the season because he was sick. He was second on the team in WAR, 4.1. DJ LeMahieu comes in at number 3 on the team in WAR, but he was injured for the last month or so. He's been dealing with some foot issues that have kind of hampered his swing. It'd be interesting to see if he cracks the starting lineup. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa finished 4th on the team in WAR in his first season with the Yankees, 2.9. And both Josh Donaldson and Matt Carpenter, who will be ready for the ALDS, had a 2.4 WAR. Now, apparently, Matt Carpenter took Nestor Cortes deep during one of their workouts the other day. He's been swinging the bat pretty well. He ripped a line drive off of Luis Severino. He says that he has no restrictions. That means, I suppose, that he can play the outfield, but I don't really want him in the outfield, which makes it interesting because if you want his bat in the lineup, that probably means you're going to have to sit Giancarlo Stanton, who was just starting to heat up at the end of the season. In left field, you're probably going to have Oswaldo Cabrera. Andrew Benintendi is getting closer, but he is not ready yet. Harrison Bader has done a very nice job in center field, and he can save a game defensively, which is something you love. And, of course, nobody's getting Aaron Judge out of right field, not only because of his offense, but he's a fantastic right fielder. So it's really going to come down to Giancarlo or Matt Carpenter for DH. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. I kind of assume that Matt Carpenter is going to be on the bench and be used as a pinch hitter, either for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa or possibly for one of the catchers, Jose Trevino or Kyle Higashioka, should they come up in a big spot. Probably for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, though. And as far as the pitching goes, Nestor Cortes was the best pitcher on the Yankee staff this year, 2.44 ERA. He won a career-best 12 games. He had a 4.2 pitching WAR, but he will be starting Game 2. Garrett Cole will get the ball in Game 1. He pitched really well against the then Indians in the 2020 wild card round. He had 13 strikeouts, his best postseason performance as a Yankee. And lifetime in the ALDS since 1995, when it officially began. The Yankees have won 11 times and they have lost 10 times, so they're trying to stay above 500 in the ALDS. I've always said that the ALDS is the round that scares me the most. Now, that's before the wild card rounds that have recently come to fruition. You know, the one-game playoff last year sucked, and now, you know, it's 2 out of 3, and even a good team can lose. But the best of 5 is really a tough match because, you know, if you lose one of those first 2 games at home, you lose home field advantage in the series. So the Yankees are really going to be relying on Garrett Cole, and it would be a big help if the offense could come out swinging right out of the gate, win the first game, and really put the pressure on the Guardians. All right, as for those Guardians, they won the American League Central with 92 wins, and then they handled the Rays. They shut them out 2 games in a row, including an extra inning marathon in Game 2. They've got some good pitching. Quantrill, Bieber, and McKenzie are all formidable. Bieber and McKenzie both pitched in the American League Wild Card Series. Cal Quantrill will get the start for Game 1. He was 15-5 with a 3.38 ERA, 32 starts. He went 186 innings, got 128 strikeouts. He is not a strikeout pitcher. Gave up 21 home runs, walked 47. He's a guy who mostly pitches to contact, 1.208 whip. I think the Yankees can handle him. I think they can also handle Shane Bieber. They handled him in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Tristan McKenzie, though, he's the type of pitcher that gives the Yankees trouble. Young, electric. I'm worried about him in Game 3. The offense for the Guardians is pretty solid. They've got a lot of guys who make contact. Andres Jimenez, obviously somebody to watch out for. Just 23 years old, came over from the Mets. He had a 7.2 WAR that led the Cleveland Guardians. Hit .297 with a .371 on-base percentage, .837 OPS, and a .141 OPS plus. But he might not be their team MVP. Jose Ramirez had 29 home runs and 126 RBIs to go along with 20 stolen bases. He is a pest. He's tough to strike out. Struck out just 82 times, walked 69 times. That's nice. And a 148 OPS plus. So they've got some guys who can do some damage. It's just a matter of whether or not the Yankees can pitch them carefully enough. It should be a good series, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as Yankees fans have been making it sound on social media. I think it's going to go 5 games. I think the Yankees will win the series, but I think it's going to take all 5 games. All right, let's talk about this guy, Aroldis Chapman. A lot of you message me, and you'll see that I removed his Yankees background because his tenure is essentially over with the Yankees. But a lot of people messaged me and asked me if I was going to do a video on Aroldis Chapman. And I didn't want to do one just to get the views, even though I knew it would do well. Frankly, I'm just tired of Aroldis Chapman. He's never been good for the Yankees in the playoffs. I've never trusted him to throw strikes. And he missed a mandatory team workout before the playoffs. That kind of shows you his commitment level or lack thereof. If you ask me, he was probably off getting a tattoo or something. But frankly, I see no reason to even have him on the roster. He was ineffective this year. And so the Yankees did a good job of putting their foot down. I think it's interesting how the Yankees had essentially 2 players quit on the team this year. Joey Gallo stopped following team rules and started packing his stuff before he was even traded. And Aroldis Chapman just giving up before the playoffs. And in retrospect, it makes a lot of sense that he would give up those clutch home runs in the playoffs. If you don't have the mental fortitude or the want to suit up and at least give it your best go in a workout before the postseason, if you don't want to do everything possible to be on that playoff roster, then you're no good to us. And you're obviously not mentally capable of being a closer at the big league level. So I would say that I wish Aroldis Chapman the best, but I honestly don't. I don't give a shit. All right, if you're new to baseball, the last time that these two teams matched up in the American League Division Series, the Guardians were named the Indians. They still had the same manager, but they had a lot more players. They had Francisco Lindor, they had Trevor Bauer, they had Andrew Miller, and that was one of the most exciting series that you'll ever see. The Yankees actually were the big-time underdogs. The Indians were coming off of a 22-game win streak that set the Major League Baseball record. In Game 1, the Indians shut down the Yankees behind Trevor Bauer. Yankees had Sonny Gray on the mound, and despite some slick defense from Didi and Starlin Castro there, Greg Bird on the receiving end, the Indians would go on to win. Yankees could do nothing with the curveball of Bauer all night long, had some great defense, and ultimately, the Indians shut out the Yankees 4-0 in Game 1. Game 2 looked like it was going to go to the Yankees. In the first inning, Gary Sanchez with the home run to center field off of Corey Kluber on a 3-1 pitch. Man, Gary had a great postseason in 2017. A lot of big hits. Yankees also got a big swing from Aaron Hicks, who may not even be on the roster. I don't think he will be. I haven't seen for sure, but he had a big home run. Greg Bird went deep. He had a really good series. We'll get more to him on Game 3. He had a humongous home run in Game 3. But Yankees ended up blowing that game. Joe Girardi failed to challenge a hit by pitch on an 0-2 pitch. and then the next batter hit a grand slam, and that was Francisco Lindor, absolutely sending Cleveland into a frenzy. And then Jay Bruce, ex-friend, gave them the lead, and the Indians won it in 13 to take a 2-0 series lead. But the Yankees were not done. They had Masahiro Tanaka in Game 3. And, of course, he was outstanding, but this was also the game that Aaron Judge took away a home run from Lindor in the 6th inning. Yankees ended up shutting out Cleveland. Tanaka really had the splitter going, and Greg Bird with a humongous and historical home run. One of my favorite home runs ever to watch. Great call by Matt Vasgersian. And the Yankees won Game 3, 1-0, to deliver the first cut. And that opened the floodgates. Greg Bird's swing really changed the tenor of that entire series. Game 4 was about Luis Severino, who had some great stuff that game. But I would argue that his stuff recently has been even better. The 7 no-hit innings in his final start of the season. Yankees did rally a little bit. Aaron Judge smoked an extra base hit, and Gary Sanchez played a little oppo-boppo to make it 8-3, and the Yankees evened up the series. Love seeing pumped up Severino at home. Game 5 was all about Didi Gregorius taking ownership of Corey Kluber with a couple of long home runs. Man, was Didi clutch. If you came down and into him, there was nobody he couldn't burn, and he burned Corey Kluber twice in this game. I thought the second one was a replay when they were showing it. Yankees got a really good start out of CC Sabathia, who was nearing the end of his career, but he was mixing and matching, changing speeds, had the Indians off balance all night, and the Yankees finished off the comeback as underdogs. These two teams matched up again in the 2020 Wild Card Series, and the Yankees swept the Indians in 2 straight. Giancarlo Stanton went ballistic. That was the beginning of his home run barrage in the postseason that year, and hopefully he can get another one of those going this year. All right, we're going to talk about the Series X factors for me. Giancarlo Stanton is number 1. We talked about his playoff heroics in the past. He's a really dangerous hitter. When he's swinging the bat well, he can be every bit as dangerous as Aaron Judge. Hit 59 home runs in 2017. He's had a couple of 30 home run seasons, 3 in fact with the Yankees. And he's had some of the biggest postseason hits for the Yankees over the past several years. He's proven that he is unfazed by the bright lights. In fact, he seems to raise his game. I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but if he doesn't hit 3 or 4 home runs in this series, I'm going to be disappointed. X factor number 2 is Matt Carpenter. We don't know how much he's going to play, but if he does get any at-bats, he was pretty dangerous against Cleveland this year, and he's pretty dangerous in Yankee Stadium with that short right field porch. X factor number 3, a guy who's been clutch with runners in scoring position all season long, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He's a guy who shortens up his stroke, doesn't try and kill it, and that's important against tough pitchers in the postseason. Guardians have a lot of guys. I almost said Indians, but the Guardians have a lot of guys that make contact in key situations. Yankees are going to have to do that if they want to win this series. And finally, the Yankees bullpen is an X factor. Who's going to close out these tough games? Sounds like Clay Holmes could be back this series, though likely not for Game 1. The Yankees could make things a lot easier on themselves by putting up some big offensive numbers in this series.
How's it going, Derek? I'm Christian from Florida. I was just wondering, if Andrew Benintendi comes back, do you sit Cabrera for him?
That's a good question. I mean, Cabrera has been electric, but Benintendi has postseason experience and is a veteran, and he's a natural left fielder, although you could make the argument that Cabrera has played every bit as naturally in the outfield. I think what would happen if Benintendi is ready, and I don't think he will be for the ALDS, but the ALCS, we definitely face this possibility. I think they'll use him off the bench to begin with, but after he gets a couple of at-bats, you open the door to him starting.
Is there any possibility that Aaron Hicks could actually be on the roster? Because I think it's absolutely insane for us to be doing that. I'd rather have anybody else other than him. So just wanted to see what you thought about that.
I like how you took a pause as you considered the names of human beings that you would rather have playing left field than Aaron Hicks, and you landed on anybody. That shows that you thought it out. I'm in 100% agreement. I don't want Hicks anywhere near this roster, but it wouldn't surprise me because the Yankees tend to do weird things. They might think, oh, well, he's had some success in the playoffs before. We saw the home run against the former Indians team in 2017. He had that big home run off of Verlander in 2019. But honestly, I think the Yankees should be done with Aaron Hicks, not only in the postseason, but in next regular season as well.
The Yankees are going to destroy the Indians. They're going to completely crush them. They're going to sweep them in 3 games.
It's funny. They changed the name of the team from the Indians to the Guardians, and it's been a year now, and people still can't stop saying Indians. I know I'm guilty of it. I don't think a sweep is going to happen, but I would take it. Sign up for it right now. Let's hope you're right.
I myself am a realist, so if/when we get to the ALCS versus what will likely be the Astros and the World Series with LA after that, then the nerves and anxiety will start to creep up. But for the ALDS versus Cleveland, we should all be feeling pretty good.
Something about counting chickens before they hatch comes to mind. I feel good, but you never know with the playoffs. I mean, who could have predicted the midges taking over in 2007? I felt great about the bullpen in 2007, and then Jabba gets attacked by these insects, and it changed the tenor of the series. No matter what happens, it should be pretty fun, should be pretty intense. First Yankees home playoff games since 2019. I'll see you after each one with the post-game recap. Thanks for watching.